Hey guys, let's recap the action on day 3. Now in my last video, someone was saying judo is lame, there's all these just drop seoi nages, the wazaris are barely even throws, where's all the ippons? So I thought I would start this video with some pretty amazing ippons. How about this uchimata from Boltoboyev? Not really known for his uchimata, but that was a really nice one. And a big osotogari by Oino. Look at that. So sometimes we get in the weeds a little bit, talking about the results, the upsets, all the little technicalities. But when you see stuff like this, I mean, judo is absolutely fantastic to watch. This one here, a nice osoto gaishi. And white, I mean, he barely had a hand on blue. Have a look at it again. I think he might lose the grip as he goes in for it. Actually, no, he never had that grip to begin with, so that's an easy counter. Another one from Boltoboyev, this time a haraigoshi. Good upper body control. One from DeWitt. And this is classic DeWitt. I love his kosotos that he does. Really wraps up the top half with his long, lanky limbs. This one I thought was just going to be a little bit of ashiwaza with the kosoto there, but Karapetyan picks him up. Huge utsurigoshi. Do you call this one an utsurigoshi when he puts the leg out like that? I mean, the start, the lift is definitely utsurigoshi. Alright, so we'll get into the results now. And day 3 was just under 81s and under 63. So we'll talk about the men's. Now Lee, I mean, he was one of the favorites, but there was also Grigalashvili. And those two met in the semi-final. So I've got a video on the channel now looking at all of Grigalashvili's fights. Go have a look at that if you want to see it in more detail. But what do you guys think about this little exchange here between Lee and Grigalashvili? Now Lee initiates with the drop down seoi nage. Grigalashvili picks him up, and then on the return Lee, he gets his leg on the outside, kind of like a yoko otoshi or maybe a kosoto gake. Now they did give this a no score, although when you look at it you start thinking, you know, can people counter a sumigaishi pick up like that with the leg on the outside? I'm not too sure. Now we saw the fabulous ippon from Oino at the beginning of the video, but Lee, I mean, he walked through him twice with kataguruma. So Oino at under 81s and Ishihara at under 73, both having trouble with the kataguruma that these guys are doing. Now of course Grigalashvili getting through Lee in the semifinals, and he was up against Arbuzov, someone who I didn't really know, in the finals, another one of these new Russians. And there was a clash of heads earlier on. Grigalashvili came back to the tatami, picked him up, and threw him across the mat. Nice uranage. So 3 times at the World Championships for Grigalashvili that he's taken gold. That's a record for Georgia. Absolutely insane. And then Arbuzov, he took a silver. I recommend going and having a look at some of Arbuzov's matches. Just had some pretty crazy Zantaraya-like defense. I'm not sure if that reference is too old. Zantaraya, I hope you new guys out there know who he is. So we'll get to Lee's bronze medal contest against Boltoboyev in a second. But first we'll talk about Matmatbekov. And he was up against Gochilaidze, who Arbuzov is taking out right now. So deep into golden score in this bronze medal contest. And Gochilaidze, you'll see him go for the osotogari. He does this a lot. He kind of turns it into a haraigoshi, but not this time. Matmatbekov gets that sumiotoshi. Nice counter. Now Lee in the bronze medal contest against Boltoboyev ended up throwing him twice. First with kataguruma, and I do want to talk about this kataguruma. This is a great angle. So Heidorov, he was doing it the day before. The Japanese, they all lost to this technique. So what they're doing is they're putting their elbow on the outside of people's knees. But as you can see Lee doing here, he's almost kind of tackling the front leg, and it's really interesting. So he's tackling the front leg and putting their elbow on the outside as well. A lot of people doing this now. Lombardo, Heidorov, a lot of people in Europe, and of course Lee. And then later on came the seoi otoshi. So Lee, I mean, he's definitely up there in the top guys of under 81s. Him, Grigalashvili, Cass. I think it's going to be one of those 3 who takes the Paris gold medal. It's probably going to be Grigalashvili, to be honest. I think he's almost unstoppable. Now at under 63, I don't think a lot of people didn't think it wasn't going to be Agabanu. She got thrown in the quarterfinal. Kind of a weak throw in my opinion, but there was only about a minute left on the clock and she couldn't pull it back. So Pinard, well done for taking down Abaganu. Kind of reminds me of that time when Wandake beat Ono Shohei in the team events at the Tokyo Olympics. So Pinard went through to the semifinals, ended up losing to Leishout. Leishout went through, took the gold in the final against Seizmanska. And then of course Abaganu, she doesn't lose twice. She went through the repechage, took a bronze medal, and then Fazliu on the other side of the bracket, she took out Pinard. So Pinard took out the number 1 seed, but couldn't go home with the medal. It's a bit unfortunate. Anyway guys, that's it from me. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.